Hello, people. I know it's been a while. Finally got this phone clip figured out, but I know I haven't made a video in a while, and I kind of wanted to stop in and just give a little update on the people that are listening to what I have to say. So, with the 1099A stuff, I'm still on hold with, they keep on saying that the IRS is backed up and it's going to be till October. Well, they're getting ready to hire 87,000 new employees or something like that. So, I don't know, maybe we'll get some stuff done, or who knows how it could go. You know, you're talking about a fictitious entity with no feelings, no heart, no soul, no mind. You know, just the only thing that keeps it operating are the people that believe in it. And I have my own little opinion or theory about it, and you know, they're just that. They're opinions and theories, and we'll never know the truth of it until it actually comes into manifestation to see how it's going to turn out. But I wouldn't put your guards down at all with this, and I wouldn't get your hopes up one way or another to think that 87,000 new employees are being brought on to benefit you. When have they? When have they ever told you the truth? I already hear on this, I wish I wouldn't have got there because it's annoying the shit out of me with its notifications and emails almost every day. But this Quora, I think is what it is. It's almost like a Reddit, but all of their posts and emails are about the Second Amendment. If the Second Amendment is abolished, what would you do? If they put a ban on ARs, if they, you know, and so it just is, I don't know if it's predictive programming, just getting people ready to start thinking about the idea. These are polls, you know, they could be polls that they're just trying to pull the census, the kind of just to see where everybody's at, mindset, what mindset everybody's at through all this. I just really hope that people stand up for their rights, and if this ever was to come about, that it don't give them up. And I sure as hell wouldn't give them up without a fight. You know, I wouldn't tell anybody to bow down to slavery to think that it's legitimate in any way, shape, or form. So there's that could possibly be going on as well. And you know, with this IRS thing, for the 4th of July, I sat down with the wife and kids, and we watched Mel Gibson, The Patriot. And, you know, when the British started coming over here and enforcing the King's rule or whatever, this is just all a propaganda movie, you know, to say why it was legitimate to go to war and stuff like that. But you can see if it was the way that that movie portrays it. You know, just the level of mind control, the level of both sides being brainwashed into thinking that it was legitimate to come over here and start telling people like, hey, this is the king's land and this is what we're going to do. This is anywhere, it's fucked up. But they started to recruit Americans, or, I would say a good bit of us were, had European bloodlines anyways, so, all that. But they were recruiting. They were going city to city, town to town, and recruiting because they were like, well, we're going to win, so you might as well be on the winning side. Just like they do with our law enforcement now, our militaries now, our IRS now. Is that them recruiting Americans to get them like, oh, we'll give you a big old hefty paycheck if you come on to us, we're the IRS, they're insolvent. The United States is insolvent. There is no money. They owe us a lot of money because we've been paying their debts with our signatures, with our blood, our sweat, and our tears. So, unless these 87,000 new employees are going to, if they're one of us, or if they're just scared little cowards that are jumping on, oh, well, if I get on with the IRS, they're not going to take my house, or they're not going to, I just would not put any faith into these entities, because they're so compartmentalized, you don't even know what's at the top. It's an entity. It's not even a factual, natural person. It's a fictitious. It's a legal fiction. And these things are your graven images. It's just like your name. People get so wrapped up in their name, their ego, and it's taught to us from the time we're out of the womb. And if you have like brothers and sisters, they enforce it because they're ahead of you, and they've already been going through all the brainwashing that you went through, and you're passing that brainwashing and that mindset on down to your children. And these are just big ideas that we have to get over. If there is no money, if money is just a means to an end, it's just a means to get these to get us functioning the way they want us to function, because they are essentially these I'm just going to call them occultists, these classes of occultists that are out there programming. They're programming and they're formatting us from a very young age, and then money is kind of just like a software that they put into the program for us to operate. You can't operate without money. Either load off the system or you work, and you pump money into the system one way or another. And I was just listening to Derek Gonzalez. He's new to me. I really am digging his work as far as what he's about and what he teaches. But man, it's just so hard to keep up with the case law and all the everything, the level that they keep restricting, but at the same time knowing all this stuff can set you free. So it's dualism, What I would like to see is us get past that dualism, and that's our natural state, is the passive state. And I'm not saying to be a pacifist or anything. because you need to stick up for yourself and you need to stand for your rights. At the same time, we have to be singular. We're all one. The meditation mantra that I was saying, to just kind of just keep repeating the I am that I am. I am that I am. And if that don't bring you to a center to where, this is it. This is me. Without a name, without all the attachments, without all the achievements, you gotta let go of all that. And then you'll see the birth certificate, you'll see the social security number, you'll see as nonsense. And what's making us have to do that is our conditioning and our programming. Well, we want our kids to have jobs, we want our kids to be able to do this. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in all this, but I seriously just don't see how us declaring ourselves as men and women and not as persons that aren't subject to these rules and regulations that are thought crimes. They only exist in the mind, and then they have people manifesting this. If we was to get in, if we were all, not even all, just a small portion of us is just to get into this I am that I am and live that way, that singular point where we're just coexisting with the laws that we're bound by naturally, then, we would ultimately have these communities. Like, I was listening to that Derek Gonzalez, and his YouTube videos aren't labeled, but he's in a green hoodie if you guys go through and try to find him on YouTube. It's a big playlist. He's got like 500 and some videos. But I've also been getting into Judy Krishnamurti, and he's real spiritual, and he don't talk about this stuff. This is what I'm kind of projecting here, is that if you listen to Judy Krishnamurti and people like Raymond Karchevsky, they bypass all that. And Raymond did do the secure party creditor spew process, and it got him to a point where he just stood on the fact that he was the sole owner. He copyrighted his name and he enforced it by himself. Beat a 40-year prison sentence simply by not giving them jurisdiction, by not allowing them to put one over on him. Yeah, a lot of these people that do this, they do spend time in jail, and that's what you see on YouTube, and that's what you hear about everywhere. But the thing is that they know who they are, and it's the fact of the matter is standing on that. And if we get to that point, we would start seeing our communities, real people doing real things for real people, other real people, and coming together and just your basic necessities: food, water, and air, shelter. That's essentially, that's all that we really need, and as humans, to survive. So it was growing hearts and growing communities is what he was talking about, and that's really what I would like to do with my trust. That's Rustic Rose. I would really like to get to the point to where we are setting up these geothermal greenhouses and having tiny homes set up on the property that I'm working this 1099A out on, and joining up with like Freedom Cells, and then there's Free to Find Truth. That's Zachary Hubbard, his little community where it's gematria, and I think by doing that we would start seeing all these intellectual mind games, the ones that just keep us going down rabbit holes and going down areas that are just dead ends. It would start bringing us back into reality, the now, the I am that I am, and projecting that programming, projecting that conditioning into the youth, and getting them on board and into agriculture and into sustainable, cleansiness, and bringing our environment back, because around here the environment, the habitats are being destroyed at an alarming rate in my eyes. The price of timber is just... See, and there it is, that means to an end. Everybody doing this for money. And with inflation and all this, if we're not seeing the ridiculousness of what money is and how it's getting us to do things that we normally wouldn't do, we're lost. We're lost souls out here, and we're destroying this planet for this entity, for this software or hardware, however you want to look at it, this input of programming to make us do things that we normally wouldn't do, and I do for a living. I do things that I wouldn't be doing this. I want to be working my greenhouse and working my farm and teaching, and just not even teaching, teach and learn, the mechanisms of nature, natural law, and that's from the physical forms of growing food to the moral side of it, and growing spiritually and physically at the same time. But all right, I'm going to head out of here. I'm about at work, so I hope you guys are all doing good. I'm still here, still learning, reading, putting things together, and we're so far gone, it's going to take a while. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to the point where I'm going to in this life, but if I'm not working on it, then it's going to be a whole lot harder in my next life. And I think that's essentially the hell that we're leading to, is that we're going to keep on creating more and more distractions to get us further and further into this fantasy world, and then we're going to be in hell. This is already hell. We're already living through fictions and fictitious entities. So if we don't start changing the rotation, it's just going to keep on deepening and deepening and deepening. So I'm going to leave it there. Have a nice day. Blessed moments, y'all.